down and see what's going on. Because about that time, the sailor said, we're going to get hit.
Paul Newton Frederick, born July the 5th, 1924. I've lived in Lexington all my life, except the time that Uncle Sam had me.
96 years old, but the stories that he told.
I was sworn in July the 30th in Louisville in 42. Went to Paris Island boot camp, Paris Island. Then they shipped us from North Carolina to California. And then in February of 43, we were aboard a ship. It was the USS Loreline. It was a luxury liner, but they had converted into a troop ship. We had over 5,000 on it. Spent about 4 months in New Zealand training. And the reason they sent us to New Zealand, because Japan was about ready to invade Australia. And they thought that we'd be closer. Then they shipped us up to Guadalcanal.
Somebody up there watching over me. He said
Harvey and I came down out of the Higgins boat, and the ship went to general quarters. And we were standing there talking, and these other three guys came up, and we got to talk with them. And that's when I said that I want a drink of water, I want to see what time it is. And this old ship had a clock and a water fountain. I got as far as the clock, and I peeked to see what time it was. And one of the sailors was there looking out. He said, we're gonna get hit. And that's when I turned around and looked out, and that's when the torpedo hit the ship. And I say I got on far, and I went over the side and came up, as I said, and looked around, and I couldn't see nothing. Seen that ship going off in the distance, so it went down in 22 minutes.
There's somebody up there watching over me. He said if you'd been through.
Yeah, I had 4 guys on there, and I had just left them, and it couldn't have been over 20 feet or so from them when it hit, and they got killed. And it couldn't have, well, as that song says, it couldn't have been over a minute. So how long it's going to take you to go 20 feet and look at the clock and look back outside? But we was told later, I was told in the hospital, that that's oil and salt water what helped our burns, the ones that got burned.
Up there watching over me. He said if you'd been through half the things I've been through, you'd believe in guardian angels too. He said if you'd been through half the things I've been through, you'd believe in guardian angels too.
I had met Myrtle before I went into service. A friend of mine was going with her sister, and he introduced me to her. I said, she looks pretty good. And I said, well, if I get a date with her. So I called her or saw her, so. And she said, yeah, I think the only reason she went was because of her sister. And I had an automobile. I'd bought an old car for $50. And we went to drive-in in Georgetown. I had a few dates with her, and then I went into service.
Guardian angel.
But when I got home, she called. Said, you coming over tonight? I said, well, I might. She said, well, come over. I got ready to, we was just, friends talk like we are now. And I got ready to leave that night. And she said, if I take my lipstick off, would you want to kiss me? I hadn't kissed her. And so I said, well, yeah.
Guardian angel.
Every time we'd have a gathering or something, she'd go with me. My family fell in love with her, I think, before I did. Or she fell in love with them. And then we got, as I say, we went together, and we was down on Upper Street down there one night waiting for her sister to get off from work. And you know, I said, you know what? If the war was over, I'd ask you to marry me. She says, why wait? So that was our engagement.
Guardian angel.
Then I went to Camp Perry, Virginia, on guard duty, and she wanted to be a June bride. This all happened in the latter part of May and the first part of June, and she wanted to come there and get married, and I said okay, but I couldn't find no place to stay. I couldn't afford the Williamsburg Inn, so I went down, coming off guard duty one afternoon, and they said, you got a visitor down at the visitor's house. And there was my mother and Myrtle. Whew. I said, where in the world are y'all going to stay? I told Mother, I said, go in the, Guardian Angel coming here again. I said, go in the Chamber of Commerce, sir, and tell me you want a couple of rooms. She got lucky, she got 2 rooms in the same house. So that was on a Friday. And then we got married at 4 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon. I had to be back in camp the next morning at 7 o'clock. I had liberty of a night, and that was our honeymoon. And we had a wonderful marriage. And you know, people talk about they getting mad, you know, and all that kind of stuff. I might have pouted for a couple of days and not talked.
How long were you married?
71 years. 71 good years together, but our love will last forever. Then he smiled and said, son, I'm one lucky guy. Yes, she's why I believe in guardian angels. There's somebody up there watching.
I was on fire, so I went in the water. First thing popped in my mind, water puts out fire. So, and I was out there, and then some of us other guys got together. We was in the water for about an hour and a half. They picked us up. That sold me on a guardian angel, which he went through me through other times too. But I lost 4 good buddies on that ship.